Hey y'all, so this is a quick tutorial on how to install Sol. Your bare requirements, like computer-wise, is you're gonna need to have 7-zip installed. That'll be linked in the description, and we're gonna need to have a fresh KSP install. I have a different video that I'm gonna put up for installing Sol with RP1. But to install Sol on a fresh install, we're going to we got a fresh install over here, so we're gonna add this instance as you can. We're gonna go up here, we're gonna copy the path, and we're gonna put it over here, and it should pop up. You want to target the exe, and we're just gonna select it. I've already added a ccan to this, but it will prompt you with whether you should, like what versions you should select, and you can do like 1.8 to 1.12 is my recommended, and ccan's recommended, and that should be all you have to do. We're just going to follow the instructions that I have posted in Sol installation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install Copernicus. I feel like it's spell. We're going to want Copernicus Planetary System Modifier. There's a lot of different ones in here, but this is the one we're going to want. And we're just going to we're going to wait to actually install that. We're also going to want to grab Parallax Continued. Okay. And then we're going to want to grab, we should get KSP Burst and Harmony with that. We're going to install the rematched volumetric clouds in a second. We're going to make sure we actually get KSP Texture Loader, just in case it decides to skimp out on us. We're going to get Advanced PQS Tools. That's another thing we're going to want to grab. And we're going to want to grab KSP Community Fixes. There's two recommendations that I don't have on this list that I would grab, which are going to be Texture Replacer for the Skybox that Sol has, and KSC Switcher for different launch sites. But you should be able to just hit apply, and I would let it install deferred. That's a good recommendation. And we're gonna go with the compiler version. And for this, just go through scatter textures, sure, plant textures, sure. And it'll just install all of it. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Remarch Volumetric Clouds. And you're gonna want to go here. There's some information on the actual download page here. Yeah, there's a YouTube video you can go watch. So once you downloaded that, we're then gonna go to the Sol GitHub. So it has the Sol installation here. You're going to want to download Sol config, so you just click on it, let it download. Yep. Go to the next one. You want to select Sol Core, let it download. For launch sites, pick whichever launch site resolution fits you. If you care about detail, go with 1024. If you don't really care that much, go with 256. For this, select whatever you want. Note this is not the sun flare texture. This is just the actual like texture on the sun. So just keep that in mind. Go with whatever you want here. Click whatever you want here. Click whatever you want here. Just I would go with 16K for this. I would go with 16K for Mars. It's a good option. 8K or 4K for Jupiter. You don't need that much. 8K or 4K, since Saturn's pretty big with the 16K textures. These are pretty much identical, so go with the 8K. 8K here as well for Neptune. 16K or 8K for the asteroid belt. There's some good asteroid belt, 16K asteroid belt objects. And then I would go with 8K for the Kuiper belt. For the sake of the video and decompression speeds, I'm going with 4K and everything. So I've collected everything into a Sol downloads folder, just in my downloads. So we're gonna want to have 7-zip. So to open something with 7-zip, we're gonna right click it, 7-zip, open archive. And we're gonna pick our KSP's game data over here. Find this by going to File, and Game Directory, and then going to Game Data. And we want to just go to our zips game data. So we open our Remarch volumetric early access zip, game data. We're going to want to grab volumetric clouds, scatter, Eve, and we just drag it in there. The instructions tell you to remove stock planet textures. This technically isn't required as far as I can tell. It was previously, but not anymore. Then I'm going to remove this from the Sol downloads here. What I recommend doing is once you have all these packages, you should have, I believe, 14 of them. We're going to right click and do 7-zip and then extract here. And we're just going to let it do its thing. While that is doing its thing, and then I accidentally open Visual Studio Code, we'll just let that do that. We're gonna want to go to the KSP texture loader page. And we're gonna want to grab Parallax Continued from here, and we're gonna open it, and we're gonna open its game data, and we're gonna drag Parallax Continued into here. This is extremely important. If you do not do this, all your planets will be white, and you'll get a bunch of errors. So you need to do this. You need to go to the KSP texture loader GitHub, which is linked in the Sol instructions. Download Parallax Continued, open the zip up, drag it into your game data, let it overwrite the DLL file in there. So after all of this has been extracted, we selected all of it, did extract here with 7-zip. We should get Nyko utils, Sol configs, which looks like it has everything in it. Sol textures, you should have a sounds and a skybox. We go in plugin data, we get launch sites, we get miscellaneous, and then 0 to 10. So just like count through them. If you have 10, then you're good. And we're just going to go to this game data folder. We're just going to drag this contents into our Sol game data folder. And then that is the entirety of Sol's installation. It is not that bad. That's it. So we're gonna hit play. This is obviously a bit of a longer process. If you haven't downloaded everything before, you just kind of have to wait for everything to get downloaded, and it will take a little bit of time. If you are having issues, you can always get help on my Discord in the Sol help section. Just make a thread, post your logs, provide some information on what went wrong and what errors you're seeing. KSP Community Fixes is going to ask you whether it should cache all the PNG textures. I would recommend doing this. There shouldn't be that many of them in your game data in general, but it'll help. We're also going to get a parallax error here. This is just terrain detail. We don't have to worry about this. We'll fix it in a minute. So you'll see a low quality earth at first, and then it should snap over to a high quality earth. If you don't get the snapping over to the high quality earth, then Parallax continue to seal the load, and make a thread in my Discord in the Sol help section. So here I'm just setting the graphics terrain detail to high. This is not really anything Sol's gonna use. We don't need terrain scatters actually, just leave that off. This is important. We want to have our terrain shader at quality at high. You can leave the reflection refresh mode at normal. And then we're going to full screen. And just to verify this works, confirm because we'll whine about the fact we changed the detail setting. We're gonna do test. and it should be night because we start at midnight Greenwich Mean Time and daytime. And we'll go into the tracking station. Yep. Looks like everything is set up properly. That does look like the Earth. For parallax, I recommend going down here to the parallax section and upping the max tessellation to 128 or even higher, like 256. This should make the terrain detail 3D details a little bit higher. If you're running into performance problems, you can leave this at 64, it'll be fine. For ray march shadows step count, I would do 128. As you can see, it makes it a little bit more solid. 256 should make it even more solid. This is just a bug with the South Pole. The UVs get a little messed up, but with 48 we get this, and then 28. It's just a little bit less noisy for hardly any performance cost. So if you're one of the players that want to install or want to use quarter scale, what I would do is, what you have to do is you go to game data, Sol configs, open up Sol configuration, and we're just gonna drag this over here. You should get, if you have VS Code installed, you could get something like this. If you have Notepad, you'll get just with Notepad. You get something like this. You'll see system scale equals real. We can just take the quarter here, just paste it in there, and that's it. That works now. And then it's quarter. Make sure you do Control S or file save to save the actual file. Otherwise, it could just be, doesn't actually write it out. Currently, if we zoom out here, we notice that everything is tilted. This is ICRF mode. If you would like it to be like KSRSS where everything's a bit more flat, you change this to ecliptic. Leave lunar reference frame at equatorial. If you don't do this, it won't pass over the Cape, which can make lunar transfer window planner just freak out and not actually find any transfer windows. Oblate gas giants. If we go to Saturn, that's not Saturn. That one's Saturn. Let it load real quick. Let me move this out of the way. You'll notice how Saturn is slightly oblate. This can cause some issues with scatter because scatter is only meant for spherical bodies. Like on Jupiter, we'll get this little atmospheric haze at the top poles. I did this stylistically, but if you don't like it or don't like the gas giants being oblate, you can change the oblate gas giants to be false. I believe there's a bug where this doesn't work in quarter scale that I'm investigating. Icon display mode. We zoom out here, we see all of the icons. If we want everything, we can just leave it on all. If we want object in periapsis and apoapsis, so just these two, you just set it to that setting. If you want OBJ, which is how the stock behavior is, set to OBJ. And then none is just there because it's an option that we have. The asteroid orbit display mode, you can read the sort of the descriptions here. Just once again, you just take this and then copy it in here. And that's all that you need. Make sure you do Control S to save it. So that is your entire Sol install. If you want to install 64K textures, you're gonna download it. You'll get a Sol add-ons. Well, you'll open the zip. You'll get a game data folder. You'll get a Sol add-ons folder. Just drag your Sol add-ons folder into ASP's game data, and then it just works. Note that just because you have a 64K pack doesn't mean you get to go into Sol textures and plugin data and like delete this Earth system. Don't do that. You'll break everything because it still uses this asset bundle for the biome map. So it will throw an error. So don't do that. But that is all you need for Sol. Installed in 15 minutes.